In a world where success is often admired and power is quietly seductive, one question remains timeless. How can a woman remain irresistibly attractive in the eyes of a successful man? This isn't about fleeting beauty or superficial charm. It's about depth, elegance, and a magnetic presence that lingers long after the first glance. Successful men, those who have built empires, overcome obstacles, and command respect, aren't just looking for someone to decorate their lives. They are drawn to women who spark intrigue, who radiate confidence, and who carry themselves with grace and mystery. In this series, we'll uncover the secrets to cultivating that enduring allure, not through pretense, but through authenticity, not by changing who you are, but by embracing the most powerful version of yourself. Let's begin the journey to becoming the kind of woman a successful man can't forget. Radiate inner charisma, becoming irresistible from the inside out. Ladies, let's start by dismantling one of the biggest misconceptions about attraction, that it's all about looks. Yes, physical appearance can capture attention, but only for a moment. What holds it, what captivates the heart and mind of a successful man, is something far more profound: your inner charisma. So what exactly is inner charisma? It's the quiet confidence in your walk, the authenticity in your smile, and the calm power in your presence. It's when a woman doesn't try too hard, yet still draws attention the moment she enters a room. Not because of what she wears, but because of who she is. Inner charisma is not loud. It doesn't need to be. It whispers strength. It radiates peace. It signals a woman who knows her worth, and who is at peace with both her flaws and her greatness. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been around a woman who wasn't the most traditionally beautiful, yet men couldn't take their eyes off her? It wasn't her makeup or her outfit. It was her energy, her poise, her presence. That is inner charisma in motion. Now, why is this especially powerful when it comes to attracting successful men? Because successful men, those who are high achievers, confident in their own right, and leaders in their field, are not easily impressed. They've seen beauty. They've encountered charm. But what truly arrests their attention is a woman who doesn't need them to validate her existence. A woman with inner charisma isn't chasing attention. She isn't desperate to be seen, because she already sees herself. She respects herself, and therefore, she commands respect. And that, my friends, is magnetic. So how do you cultivate this inner charisma? Let's explore a few key foundations. 1. Know who you are, and be proud of it. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of inner charisma. Take the time to understand your strengths, your values, your passions, and yes, even your imperfections. When you own every part of yourself, you become immune to the judgment of others. A woman who knows who she is walks differently. She speaks with certainty. She listens with intent. She no longer seeks external validation because her self-worth is internal, unshakable, and deeply rooted. This kind of self-assuredness is rare, and rare things are always valuable. 2. Embrace feminine confidence. There is power in feminine energy. It's not about being submissive or passive. True feminine confidence is warm, intuitive, nurturing, and graceful, yet unwavering in strength. A charismatic woman understands the balance. She doesn't compete with men, she complements them. She doesn't need to dominate a conversation to make an impression. Her presence is the impression. She is soft where she needs to be soft, and strong where she needs to be strong. This contrast creates a sense of mystery and allure that is irresistible. 3. Control the energy you bring into the room. You don't need to announce yourself. Let your energy do that for you. Charismatic women are intentional about the energy they bring. They don't carry bitterness, envy, or insecurity into their interactions. Instead, they bring peace, calmness, and light. That energy is healing. It's attractive, especially to a man who carries the weight of responsibility and leadership. Being emotionally grounded is incredibly powerful. When others feel more relaxed and uplifted in your presence, they will always seek your company. 4. Speak with clarity and listen with purpose. Your voice is an extension of your presence. Use it well. Charisma is not just about how you look. It's about how you communicate. Speak with clarity, confidence, and purpose. Avoid gossip, negativity, or trying to prove yourself. A woman who knows her worth doesn't need to impress. She simply expresses herself authentically. And don't underestimate the power of listening. Truly listening, not just to reply, but to understand, builds deep connection. Successful men, who are used to being the ones talking, are often captivated by a woman who genuinely hears them. 5. Move with grace, not urgency. Inner charisma is calm. It's composed. It doesn't rush. Whether you're walking into a room, making a decision, or responding to conflict, do it with poise. Grace under pressure is unforgettable. A woman who remains centered even when things get chaotic demonstrates emotional maturity. And that, more than any physical trait, is magnetic to a man who is navigating a complex world. 6. Stop trying to be perfect. Perfection is boring. Vulnerability is real. And real is beautiful. The most charismatic women are not flawless. They are authentic. They laugh at themselves. They admit when they're wrong. They don't pretend to have it all together. This openness makes them relatable and approachable. Don't be afraid to be human. Don't be afraid to show your heart. That's where true power lies. 7. Practice self-respect daily. Lastly, never forget, you teach others how to treat you by how you treat yourself. Prioritize your well-being. Set healthy boundaries. Invest in your personal growth. Honor your time, your space, your peace. When you respect yourself, the world has no choice but to follow. Successful men respect women who respect themselves. They are not looking for someone to save. They are looking for someone to stand beside them. Closing thoughts. So, if you want to be irresistible in the eyes of successful men, don't just focus on your exterior. Nurture your interior. Because in the end, the glow that lasts is not the one painted on your face. It's the one that radiates from your soul. Charisma is not something you put on. It's something you uncover. And once you do, you'll realize you never had to chase admiration. You only had to become the kind of woman who naturally attracts it. Mastering the art of elegant communication. Speak with grace. Listen with power. Let's get one thing clear. It's not just what you say, but how you say it that leaves a lasting impression. In the world of successful men, those who negotiate million-dollar deals, lead teams, and make high-stakes decisions daily, communication isn't just a tool, it's a language of influence. And women who master elegant, thoughtful, and powerful communication don't just gain attention, they command admiration. Now, this doesn't mean you need a degree in rhetoric or speak like a politician. What it does mean is that the way you express yourself, your tone, timing, presence, and intentionality can turn a simple conversation into a deeply memorable interaction. Let's dive into the core pillars of elegant communication that elevate your allure. 1. Speak with intention, not for attention. A woman of value doesn't speak to impress. She speaks to express, clearly, calmly, and with intention. This doesn't mean you need to say less. It means what you do say should carry weight. Avoid empty chatter, especially when trying to connect with a man who values clarity and purpose in everything he does. He's not looking for noise. He's looking for resonance. Ask yourself, why am I saying this? Before speaking. Does it serve connection? Does it show authenticity? Or is it just a bid for attention? When your words are thoughtful and measured, you become unforgettable, not because you're loud, but because you're real. 2. Embrace the power of listening. Want to know a secret? One of the most attractive things you can do when talking to a successful man is to listen deeply. Not passively, not impatiently waiting to speak, but truly listening to understand, not just to reply. In a world where most people talk over each other, a woman who listens with her full presence creates a rare experience. Successful men are used to being admired for their accomplishments, but they're rarely understood. Be the woman who gives them that gift. Use eye contact, nod with intention, reflect what he's saying. Let your body language say, I see you. I hear you. I respect your mind. That, in itself, is magnetic. 3. Choose your words wisely. Words are powerful. They can uplift, seduce, challenge, or wound. Elegant communication is about precision. Instead of talking excessively, learn to say more by saying less but better. Instead of complaining, express concern. Instead of criticizing, ask a thoughtful question. Instead of gossip, shift the conversation toward growth or insight. Your vocabulary should reflect intelligence, not arrogance. Grace, not submission. Warmth, not manipulation. Your words should make people feel, not just think. That's the kind of impact successful men remember long after the conversation ends. 4. Don't be afraid to pause. One of the most underrated communication tools is the pause. You don't need to rush your speech. In fact, slowing down, allowing silence between your words, creates gravity. It gives people time to absorb what you're saying. It makes you seem composed, confident, and in control. Think of it this way. When you pause, you're not losing attention, you're building anticipation. A woman who isn't afraid of silence is a woman who's comfortable in her own power. 5. Use your tone to build connection. Tone is everything. It can turn a simple hello into an invitation or a dismissal. Your tone reveals more about your emotions than your words do. Successful men are perceptive. They read energy. Soften your tone when you want to build intimacy. Add warmth when you want to connect. Add playfulness when you want to charm. It's not about being fake. It's about being intentional. Let your tone reflect emotional intelligence. That's far more seductive than any outfit you could wear. 6. Ask questions that matter. You want to stand out? Ask better questions. Skip the small talk. Ask about passions, purpose, growth, challenges. Don't be afraid to go deeper. Ask a successful man not just what he does, but why he does it. What drives him? What scares him? What does he wish more people understood about him? A woman who asks meaningful questions shows that she sees beyond the surface and that she's comfortable swimming in deeper emotional waters. Those conversations don't just build attraction. They build connection. And connection is what successful men truly seek, whether they admit it or not. 7. Know when to be silent and let your presence speak. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing. You don't need to fill every gap in a conversation. Silence can be sensual. It can be mysterious. It gives space for curiosity to grow. It allows the other person to come toward you instead of chasing their attention. Use eye contact. Smile gently. Hold stillness with confidence. That quiet presence can often say more than 1,000 words, and it speaks volumes about your inner security. 8. Set boundaries with grace, not aggression. One of the hallmarks of elegant communication is knowing how to say no, firmly, yet kindly. You don't have to be harsh to be heard. You can set limits with warmth. You can stand your ground without raising your voice. Whether it's turning down a second drink, pushing back on an inappropriate question, or simply saying you're not ready for something, your ability to communicate boundaries with elegance shows deep self-respect. And a woman who respects herself is always respected by others. Closing thoughts. Communication is not about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about choosing your words, your tone, and your silence in ways that reflect who you are and who you're becoming. If you want to be truly seductive in the eyes of a successful man, don't just aim to be beautiful. Aim to be heard, felt, and remembered. When you speak with elegance, listen with depth, and express yourself with intention, you don't just enter the conversation. You elevate it. And in that space, where words meet energy, you become the kind of woman who doesn't just turn heads. You turn hearts. Attractive appearance without overexposure. The art of being seen without giving it all away. Let's be honest, appearance matters. We live in a visual world, and your image speaks before you ever say a word. But here's what sets truly captivating women apart. They understand that being attractive is not about revealing everything. It's about revealing just enough. It's about crafting an image that suggests confidence, sophistication, and femininity without ever crossing the line into desperation or vulgarity. Especially in the eyes of successful men, those who are used to being surrounded by beauty, luxury, and surface-level glamour. What captivates them is a woman who understands the power of subtlety. Because subtlety is not weakness. It's strategy. It's elegance. And more importantly, it's rare. 1. Style is a statement of self-respect. Let's begin here. How you dress tells the world how you see yourself. When you take time to present yourself with intention, clean lines, well-fitted clothes, tasteful accessories, you're saying, I respect myself. I value my presence. That alone is compelling. It's not about wearing expensive brands or showing off the latest fashion trends. It's about knowing what works for you, your body, your coloring, your personality, and choosing styles that reflect confidence and grace. Successful men notice these details. They recognize when a woman dresses with class rather than attention-seeking, because to them, refinement is power. 2. Show skin. Selectively and strategically. There's nothing wrong with showing some skin, done right. it can be incredibly alluring. The key? Never give away everything at once. Think of it like a great novel. You don't reveal the whole plot in the first chapter. You give hints, you build tension, you leave space for imagination. The same goes for how you present your body. A backless dress with long sleeves. A high slit but a modest neckline. A fitted silhouette that leaves something to the imagination. These choices whisper sophistication. They say, I know I'm attractive. I don't need to scream it. That balance between allure and restraint is what makes heads turn and hearts stay interested. 3. Grooming is not vanity, it's discipline. Let's get one thing straight. Paying attention to grooming is not shallow. It's respectful. Clean nails, healthy skin, well-kept hair, a signature scent. These things don't require wealth. They require care. And care is something successful men value immensely, especially those who have disciplined themselves in their own lives. You don't need to overdo it. You don't need heavy makeup or bold transformations. You just need to look like you're in control of your appearance, because that communicates you're in control of your life. 4. Move with grace, not drama. It's not just what you wear, it's how you move. Posture, gait, gestures, eye contact. These elements create your presence far more powerfully than any outfit. Stand tall, not stiff, but poised. Walk with purpose. Use your hands gently when speaking. Make deliberate eye contact without staring. Smile with ease, not performance. When a woman moves with grace, she carries an energy that is both magnetic and calming. That's what leaves an imprint. 5. Let your feminine energy flow naturally. Feminine energy doesn't mean being passive. It means being in harmony with yourself. It means softening into your essence without apology. This energy can be expressed in the way you speak, the way you dress, and even the way you laugh. You don't need to pretend to be someone else. You simply need to allow your natural warmth, intuition, and emotional intelligence to shine. Successful men are not looking for more competition. They are often seeking complement. Your ability to embody softness with strength is what creates attraction, not through force, but through flow. 6. Avoid the trap of overexposure, online and offline. We live in an age where oversharing is glorified, especially on social media. But if your goal is to attract the admiration of quality, successful men, then remember, mystery is magnetic. You don't need to post every detail of your life. You don't need to show your body from every angle. The more you give away freely, the more others take you for granted. Be selective. Share, but don't spill. Suggest, but don't expose. Let people wonder about your life. Let them earn access to your world. Because a woman who gives everything away too soon, online or in person, loses her intrigue. And intrigue is the essence of attraction. 7. Confidence is the best accessory you can wear. All the styling tips in the world won't matter if you wear them with insecurity. Confidence makes a simple black dress look like high fashion. It makes natural makeup look glamorous. It turns silence into seduction. But confidence isn't about arrogance. It's about ease. It's about knowing that you're enough, whether someone compliments you or not. It's about standing in your truth and allowing your presence to speak for itself. When a successful man sees that kind of unshakable energy, he doesn't just admire it. He respects it. And that respect is the gateway to lasting attraction. 8. The real secret? Be comfortable in your own skin. Ultimately, the most attractive thing you can wear is comfort with yourself. A woman who is at peace with her appearance, who embraces her curves, her lines, her unique beauty, radiates a quiet confidence that no trend can replicate. You don't need to look like anyone else. You only need to look like your best self. When you walk into a room owning who you are, flaws and all, you give others permission to see your beauty through the lens of truth, not comparison. And that, more than any designer dress or perfect photo, is unforgettable. Closing thoughts. Being attractive without overexposing yourself is not a contradiction. It's an elevation. It's the art of leaving something to the imagination, of making people lean in rather than look away. You don't have to show more to be seen. You just have to show up authentically, intentionally, and elegantly. So the next time you step out, whether into a meeting, a date, or your everyday life, remember, you are the masterpiece. Let your appearance be the frame that highlights your inner glow, not the mask that hides your light. Because the woman who knows how to reveal just enough is the woman they'll never stop wanting to see more of. Know your worth and be a challenge. The power of self-respect in the eyes of a high-value man. Let me tell you a truth many won't say out loud. The easiest way to lose the attention of a successful man is to make yourself too available, too eager, too easily won. Men who have worked hard to build their lives, who have conquered industries, overcome obstacles, and set high standards for themselves, are not drawn to what is cheap or easily obtained. They are drawn to value, to mystery, to a woman who knows her worth and refuses to lower her standards just to be chosen. And that woman, she doesn't chase. She attracts. She doesn't beg for love. She commands respect. In this final part, we explore the mindset and behaviors that elevate you from being just another option to being the one he can't stop thinking about. 1. Stop trying to prove yourself. You don't need to audition for someone else's affection. You don't need to convince a man that you're worthy of his time. You already are. The moment you start proving, you position yourself below him. You're subtly saying, "You're the prize, and I'm trying to earn you." That energy might not be spoken, but it's always felt, especially by a man who is used to being pursued. Instead, step into every interaction knowing that your presence is enough, that you bring just as much value to the table. That love, attention, and commitment must be mutual, not earned by sacrificing your dignity. 2. Be kind, but keep your standards. There's a dangerous myth out there that being feminine means saying yes to everything, smiling through discomfort, being endlessly agreeable. But femininity without boundaries is not attractive, it's submissive. And that's not what high-caliber men truly desire. Be kind, be open. But when something doesn't sit right with you, speak up. When you don't agree, say so. When a man steps out of line, call it out. With grace, but with firmness. Your standards are not there to push people away. They are there to protect your value. And a man worth your time will never be intimidated by your standards. He will be inspired to meet them. 3. Don't be afraid to say no. Saying no is one of the most powerful things a woman can do. Not because she wants to reject someone, but because she knows how to honor herself. Say no when a man asks for too much too soon. Say no when something feels rushed, forced, or transactional. Say no when your intuition whispers, "This isn't right." The woman who can say no with confidence is rare, because most are afraid of losing interest or being called difficult. But a high-value man doesn't lose interest when a woman says no. He becomes curious. He pays attention. He recalibrates. Because in that moment, he sees that she respects herself more than she craves his validation. And that is magnetic. 4. Let him work for your attention. Attention is a currency. Don't give it away for free. Successful men are used to women throwing themselves at them, complimenting, texting, chasing. But those gestures rarely leave a lasting impression. Because when you give too much too soon, there's no sense of challenge, no sense of earning. You want to stand out? Be warm, but reserved. Be present, but not desperate. Give him space to pursue you. Let him initiate, lead, invest. That's not about playing games. It's about allowing polarity to work in your favor. When he senses that your attention must be earned, he values it. When he earns it, and you give it freely, that's when deep connection begins. 5. Be a woman with a life. Nothing is more attractive than a woman who has her own purpose, her own passions, her own full life. Don't orbit a man. Build your own galaxy. Have your own goals. Be excited about your own path. Make plans that don't always include him. When a man sees that your world is full, with or without him, he realizes that your presence in his life is not out of need, but out of choice. That's the ultimate power. To be desired, not because you're empty and need him to fill you, but because you're already whole. And that kind of woman, she's unforgettable. 6. Don't settle for breadcrumbs. Sometimes, in the desire to be chosen, we accept the bare minimum. Sporadic texts, inconsistent effort, vague promises, false hope. But when you know your worth, you don't chase potential. You don't build castles out of red flags. You don't convince yourself that maybe next time things will change. You simply walk away from what doesn't meet your standard, and you do it without bitterness. You're not angry. You're not hurt. You're unavailable for anything less than what you deserve. And in doing so, you make space for what's truly aligned with your value. 7. Be the reward, not the gamble. Successful men understand risk. They take calculated chances in business. But in love, They seek certainty. They don't want chaos. They want clarity. Be the woman who brings peace, not confusion. Strength, not drama. Warmth, not desperation. Let him feel that being with you is not a risk, it's a reward. A privilege. A gift that must be treated with care, not assumption. And when you position yourself this way, not as something to chase blindly, but something to rise up to, you elevate the entire dynamic. 8. Fall in love with yourself first. This is where it all begins and where it all ends. No man, no compliment, no relationship can replace the love you must cultivate for yourself. Because when you know your worth from within, you don't settle. You don't shrink. You don't seek approval like air. You walk into rooms differently. You speak differently. You love differently. And the man who recognizes that inner glow, he won't try to tame it. He'll honor it. Because your love for yourself teaches others how to love you. 2. Closing thoughts. Being a challenge doesn't mean being difficult or distant. It means being disciplined with your heart. It means knowing that your worth is not up for negotiation. That the right man doesn't need convincing. He just needs access. And access to you must be earned with respect, consistency, and truth. So remember this. You are not the prize because of how you look. You are the prize because of who you are, what you carry, and what you refuse to accept. When you know your worth and refuse to settle, you don't chase success. You attract it on your terms. And in the eyes of a high-value man, there's nothing more seductive than that.